TV Roundtable, where we will discuss all your controversial topics going on in the world. I'm your host, Aubriana Odom, and I'm joined today with Bailey Mills, Daniel Burley, and Jake Williamson, ready to take today's topic of social justice head on. I'd like to start us off with Bailey Mills. Bailey took this topic in the route of sexism and went out to find out how it affects different people. So Bailey, can you explain more on this topic?
Of course. Although lots of progress has been made in the last few years, there's still one thing that hasn't changed. Sexism in the workplace is an issue that many people have to deal with today.
A common misconception is that only women are affected by sexism, but this is not the case. Men still commonly face sexism in the workplace.
At a company I worked for, I wanted to hire another guy manager. Since it was 3-to-1 ratio, the head honcho said that can't happen because women work better.
Women are often faced with sexism, but it's not always black and white. Sexism also ties into ageism and classism, which make it harder for women to be as easily successful as men.
As a young woman in education, between sexism and ageism, I'm always battling between feeling the pressures of people judging me.
According to statistics, women make 77.5 cents for every dollar made by men. This wage gap is one of the main reasons sexism still exists today.
I think it's ridiculous. I did a project on it, and women that have more education than most men are still making less, almost about 20 to 30,000. And people say it's getting smaller, but it's steadily staying the same.
In a lot of other fields where we don't have those same salary guides and things, but it's a concern that in 2017 that these are still issues that women are facing today.
It will take all of us, regardless of age, gender, and class, to close the wage gap and end sexism altogether. Although there's no quick fix, if we stay determined, we can solve this problem.
Start treating women more fair, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of, because there's nothing that we could do that would immediately help.
I think it really starts in our classrooms. Hopefully, we'll continue to have people that don't see race and gender and age as an issue as it continues to go.
As far as we've come in society, something as degrading as sexism should have ended a long time ago. I would like to encourage everybody to take the essential steps towards fighting this issue.
Thank you, Bailey. I hope people continue to fight for this issue. Now I'd like to introduce Daniel Burley. Daniel went out to gather people's opinions on topics that are affecting Americans every day. So Daniel, can you tell us more about these things?
Well, many Americans face challenges every day such as homelessness, discrimination, lack of education, and inability to receive proper health care. Some people are starting to look towards social justice to answer these problems.
How does it make you feel when I say 1.6 million Americans are homeless?
I feel distraught. I feel it's heart-tearing.
Well, to me, it's just a failing of society to have that, to have homelessness in general, but with that kind of numbers, it's just criminal.
After hearing about many problems of poverty and social justice, many people offered up different solutions to fix it.
I think it starts with media coverage. I think most people heard about the attack in London because the attacker was Muslim. So I think the media needs to give everyone equal coverage. Society
is in some respects to blame for the problem. Therefore, we should be seeking the solution as well.
Well, they should be working with the states, also seeing exactly what people do need health care, providing funds for the states to get equal access. People should not be dying because they do not have equal access to care.
Dr. Marcus spoke specifically about the injustices of education and the many challenges people face coming from schools of different wealth.
It depends on the leadership that is there. Poorer schools or schools that have a higher low socioeconomical status, it depends on leadership. Are we actually being a light within the community that we are assigned to and that we're addressed to?
Meanwhile, Dennis Jagar spoke specifically on how to help the homeless around our community with some unconventional ways.
I don't think just putting a bunch of money in somebody's lap is the way to go. I think that job training programs, mental health is a big thing. Addiction recovery would be a big thing. and then partnering with different businesses who would be willing to accept someone who has gone through the programs that have been set up. And once those things kind of start falling in place, you see lives kind of start getting back together a little.
Whether or not the government chooses to face these issues, it's our job as citizens to acknowledge these and do more to combat these problems every day.
Thank you, Daniel. It's nice to see people aware of such things happening. Lastly, I'd like to introduce Jake Williamson. Jake went out to talk with a local taxi driver about wages and standard of living. So Jake, can you tell us more about what you found out?
Well, of course. Those yellow cars that you always see driving around Anaheim are the original taxi cabs, but they're suddenly disappearing to the new systems such as Uber. I was able to sit down with a guy named Marty Nelson on the standard of living and wages that come with being a taxi driver.
It all depends. It's how do you want to live? You want to rich modestly, economically. What do you need versus what do you want? We could earn more, but the thing is, Uber is taking half our fares. What do you call it? I'll give you an example. From here to LAX, we charge $100. Uber charges $50 flat, but then they take 25% from the driver, so the driver only is left with $38. So in Uber's philosophy, you either take it or leave it, or we'll get another driver, flat out.
Marty believes that it is Uber that is changing the way of being a taxi driver.
Uber has to play by the cab rules. So here's another one. If a driver crashes on the way to the airport, it's only $120,000 per person. So that's it. You know, they got to play by the cab rules.
Along with the pay, there are also many benefits to taxiing as well.
Benefits, set my own hours and set my own schedule. So I can work anywhere where I want. So it could be South County, Orange County, Disneyland, so Huntington Beach, wherever.
As you can tell, Marty's one of the original drivers and always plays by the cab rules.
Thank you, Jake. I'm glad you were able to find out so much about that topic. Well, that's all we have on today's episode of Lion TV Roundtable. I hope we were able to inform you of many social justice issues that you can help to better in your community. See you next time.